Today on Politics Unplugged, Democrats targeting Democrats. A handful of progressives are tired of watching members of their own party vote with Republicans. We speak to one of them. The Supreme Court shoots down President Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship. And racism rears its ugly head in the Republican primary for superintendent. The panel is here to break it down now on Politics Unplugged.
And good evening. I'm political editor Dennis Welch, and this is Politics Unplugged. And there's a growing rift in the Democratic Party between centrist party leaders and members on the left, many of whom identify as Democratic socialists who have been targeting establishment Democrats and winning. Here to talk about that is Senator Analise Ortiz. I want to thank you very much for joining us here today. You are part of an effort called No Safe Seats, and it's progressive Democrats such as yourself targeting other Democrats you don't feel are voting the right way or siding with Republicans too much. Tell me a little bit more about this.
That's right. We're living through one of the most dangerous moments in American history. The gap between the rich and the poor is growing. Trump is actively working to unravel voting rights, to target immigrant families, and to strip us of other rights within the Bill of Rights. And what we're seeing is that there are Democrats in the Arizona legislature actively working to enable that agenda. There are Democrats who have voted for a constitutional convention, which would allow Trump and his allies to rewrite the Constitution. This is dangerous stuff. So No Safe Seats is an effort between myself and 4 other progressive, working class, first-time candidates who are working to say we're not going to accept the status quo anymore. We're not going to accept this corrupting influence of corporate money. But
let me ask you about this. Shouldn't that be up to the voters? If they're not happy with the way, and some of the voters you're targeting, one of them is like Lydia Hernandez and whatnot, you're targeting them for their voting record. Shouldn't that be up to the voters?
It's going to be up to the voters on July 21st in this Democratic Party for primary. And for far too long, there have been Democrats in safe seats who have gone unchallenged. So this cycle, we have Lizbeth Escaranaga and Alberto Flores running for the state house in my district. We have Rocky Perez running in Legislative District 20 for the Senate in a Tucson district, and Miranda Lopez running in another Southern Arizona district, LD 21, for the state house.
Yeah, it seems like we're a long way from that old adage, blue no matter who. Don't you worry about party unity? Like this could create a rift within the Democratic Party at this point?
Well, here's the thing we know right now is that voters are tired of Democrats who are not stepping up in this critical moment for democracy. And we have seen that the policies progressives are pushing are popular policies, and voters are choosing those policy ideas over political labels. We're talking about guaranteed child care, keeping people in their homes, keeping immigrant families together, taxing the rich. These are not radical ideas. I would argue what's actually hurting Democrats are Democrats like Sinema who get in there and make the same votes as Republicans and take the same corporate money as Republicans. Enough is enough.
And are you saying that these Democrats are behaving like that and like a kind of representative of what Sinema did? Because there was a very a big pushback within the Democratic Party when Sinema was in the Senate. In fact, it was so big, she re-registered, stopped being a Democrat and registered as an independent and ended up not even running.
That's right. And when it comes to the Democrats in the legislature who voted to allow for Trump and his allies to rewrite the United States Constitution through a constitutional convention, they put our voting rights on the line, worker protections on the line. And what we are talking about here is with my seatmate in particular, Lydia Hernandez. She cashed 2 maximum contributions from the far right-wing operation that is pushing this constitutional convention. They paid her, and her yes votes followed. That is not simple bipartisanship. That is corruption. And voters need to know about it.
And she was quoted as saying that her votes represent the voters of her district. You share the same district, so you disagree, obviously.
Every day I'm talking to voters at the doors who say they want Democrats who are going to fight, who are going to be true to our values, and most importantly, who are going to deliver change for working families. People cannot pay the bills right now. We cannot have Democrats who are taking money from the same utility companies and data centers who are skyrocketing those bills. We should not have Democrats who are refusing to do what's necessary to build affordable housing and help renters with their renters' rights. Those are the types of policies people want to see.
And again, this is largely started as a fundraising effort. How much money has this raised?
In the first 24 hours, No Safe Seats raised over $2,000. We are now up to $6,000, and people can learn more on my website, ortizforaz.com/nosafeseats.
Okay, now bigger picture too, if you look nationally, a lot of attention was given to some Democratic socialists who won seats out of New York, and people will say, well, that's New York, it's a long way from here. We also saw the same thing happen in Colorado recently in a primary up there, and we've seen it here in Tempe. Tempe City Council elected a Democratic socialist. Where are you with that movement, with that label? Is this good for your party and for politics here?
Well, again, people are choosing popular policies over political labels. And so you have candidates who identify as Democratic Socialists. You have other candidates like myself who are endorsed by the Working Families Party and a similar effort to create a true multiracial democracy fighting for the working class. I think right now what is most important is that working class solidarity, willing to say that this income inequality is unacceptable in the richest country in the world, and we need to do more to tax corporations and the rich so they pay their fair share, and so we can put that money towards our collective community needs like housing, healthcare, public schools. These are popular ideas.
Yeah. So ideas like that, though, in politics, can be taken and used against Democrats such as yourself. Are you at all concerned that it could make it harder, more of a challenge, supporting Democratic socialists, more progressive ideas in your effort to take control of one of the legislative chambers this year?
The last thing we want to see is that Democrats get a majority in the legislature for the first time in 60 years, and then we fail to deliver on policies that are actually going to make a meaningful difference in people's lives. If we do that, then we won't have a majority for very long. So I think this is a crucial effort. This is why No Safe Seats is so important, because we need the bold progressive action that is going to change people's lives on the ground. And those are policies that are popular regardless if you are Republican, Democrat, or Independent. They are policies that help lift the working class and help create equity and true abundance for our communities.
Okay, and let's wrap on this. Are you bullish on your party's chances of taking one of the chambers down to the legislature? Hasn't happened since the early 1990s when Democrats briefly controlled the Senate there after ASCAM, and I don't believe Democrats have controlled the State House since, I think 1966, the mid-60s at least. Are you bullish it could happen this year?
We saw incredible progress in electing Governor Hobbs, Adrian Fontes, and Chris Mays to those statewide seats. Now it is time to focus that energy, and we have even more momentum behind us with just how unpopular Trump and the MAGA agenda are right now for working Arizonans who are struggling to pay bills, who are struggling to stay in their homes, and families that are being separated because of these cruel immigration policies. I'm hearing every day on the ground from voters who say they want change, and I do believe this is the cycle to do it and win the legislature.
All right, Senator Analise Ortiz, thanks for joining us here today. And up next, I'll be bringing in our panel, talk about all of this week's major headlines, including some major Supreme Court rulings. That's next, right here on Politics Unplugged.
The Supreme Court rested its case for the year. The DOJ launched an investigation into an Arizona lawmaker, and racism flares up in a high-profile Republican primary. This is your weekly political roundup. The Supreme Court ended its term this week after hearing nearly 60 cases on issues dealing with everything from economics to election law. On its final day, the High Court delivered its most high-profile ruling. In a 6-3 decision, it dealt President Donald Trump a major defeat, blocking his executive order to end birthright citizenship. The justices also handed a major blow to LGBTQ rights, upholding state laws that ban transgender athletes from participating in girls' and women's sports. The Department of Justice opened an investigation into Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego for suspected campaign finance violations. The move comes after the Senate Ethics Committee dismissed similar allegations that also included inappropriate sexual misconduct. And finally, it was a lesson in racism the candidates running for state schools chief did not want to see. Both Republican candidates denounced a racist ad targeting Kimberly Yee, who is an Asian American. Yee is the current state treasurer and candidate for superintendent of public instruction. She's running against incumbent Tom Horn, who called for the ad to be taken down. And that was your political roundup for the week.
And it's time to bring in our panel to break all of that down. We've got former Democratic lawmaker Reginald Bolding and Republican businesswoman Christine Jones. Thanks for being here. Let's start with the big Supreme Court, ends its term for the year, issuing a very big decision on birthright citizenship and deals a significant blow to Trump and his agenda. I want to get your reaction to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's from a lawyer standpoint, they did the right thing. What's in the Constitution is in the Constitution, and if you're going to support it, you have to support all of it. And frankly, we ought not to be amending the Constitution by executive fiat, right? We shouldn't just get a piece of paper, put the president's signature on it, and assume that that's good. If you don't like birthright citizenship, and we should all be very concerned about the birth tourism that's going on, people getting off planes, having babies, and getting back on planes and going away, then we should change it, right? It's very difficult to amend the Constitution, but we could wrap some policy around. And frankly, if Congress would do Congress's job, fix the policy pieces of this, we may not actually have to have the president doing it. But unlike a lot of the conservative lawyers that we've been reading online the last few days, I agreed with this particular decision.
Yeah, but there were still 3 justices that dissented from this. You've got to be concerned about that.
You know, if you get in the weeds on these opinions and go read the footnotes, which, kind of excites lawyers a little bit weirdly, I'm not sure that they do disagree. There are distinctions that they make in the dissent, but I think generally speaking, people say it's in the language, we don't like the policy, but the Constitution says what the Constitution
But the 6-3 ruling, I mean, one of those, the people who were in the majority, Justice Kavanaugh, kind of disagreed with the majority on how they got there. He said that he has been said, could have carved out kind of a roadmap for Congress, because he says it's kind of up to Congress to do this. You got to be concerned about that too.
Absolutely. I mean, right now we have a Congress that has pretty much acquiesced to whatever President Trump wants to do. I mean, and it's good to at least see that in this instance that the Supreme Court got it right. I mean, right now, birthright citizenship is something that's the foundation of America. I mean, this goes back all the way to slavery. I mean, the idea that someone is born here is a citizen is something that we all should be able to get behind. And just the idea that it even had to go in front of the Supreme Court is an issue of where we're at in today's politics.
You think this becomes a major issue with the midterms, given that, again, Justice Kavanaugh saying maybe it should be up to Congress, that, maybe Trump comes back if he still has a majority in the nation's capital, that they try to do this legislatively through Congress? I
definitely think that this lights a fire up underneath Arizona voters, especially those who have folks in their communities, people in their family that are that could be potentially impacted by this issue. I mean, the reality is if Congress stays the same and you still have this a trifecta of what you're seeing is we have no clue what the next 2 years could actually look like. I mean, if we thought it was a lot of aggression these past 2 years, the next 2 years could be even more off the rails.
And do you expect Trump to do this through Congress if he can, and would you support that?
I mean, look, we have to frame a policy that makes sense here. To Reggie's point, this was never meant to give people, universally broad rights to become citizens. People who grew up here, who were brought here, those sorts of things we can all argue about. Is Trump going to do it with the legislature? The legislature has been deadlocked on this issue for decades. So I love your optimism. It's beautiful. It's so wonderful. But I am not optimistic about this, about their ability to get anything done on this. It's going to have to go to the states probably.
All right. And let's talk about the other issue, another big issue they ruled on before they ended their term, and that is states still have the right to ban trans athletes from girls and women's sports. Been talking about this one for a long time. Reggie, I want to get your reaction to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really disheartening when you have a minority group in the country who is consistently targeted by a political party for political gain. Trans youth here in this country have been dangled as a political partisan tool in order to fire up a base. This is something that I really think that we have to take a step back, because there's actually children and their lives that are being affected when you're using this as a political game, and that's just unheartening.
Yeah. And get your reaction to it too, because you're old school Republican, like less government. Can't this be dealt with parents and local school boards?
Well, we thought so, and we tried that, and it didn't work very well, because the the long and short of it is there are women playing in women's sports that are becoming injured. And you can say there are not a lot of these athletes that are being admitted to NCAA
say there's not a lot of those.
But it doesn't matter because one athlete in a division means every team in the division has to forfeit a game against them. And that's what the woman who's kind of the spokesperson for the ballot initiative here talks about. Her team had to sit out a number of games in that division. The issue has to be Title IX was there for a purpose. It's been there for 50 years. It is one of the few places where women actually have been given legal, equal standing. And to your point, we don't mean to objectify anybody. If I personally have a thought about it, but if you're going to transition your gender, we have to have a co-ed. We have to have a third podium. We cannot put girls in jeopardy when they're playing against people who are biological males.
I just want to give you a chance to respond to that. Do you think women and girls being put in jeopardy?
I do think that right now you have to make sure that local communities, parents, teachers, they have the ability to make that decision. I don't think that this should be a broad swap thing that's happening around the country in which decisions are being made. So I do think there has to be a local control issue.
All right, we're going to take a quick break right now, but when we come back, the Republican primary for superintendent gets really ugly with a racist attack ad targeting Kimberly Yee. That's next on Politics Unplugged. And let's bring the panel back in. Thank you very much for sticking around for another segment with us. And let's start talking about some more local politics here, at least a local politician. I want to get your reaction. The Department of Justice apparently has been reported. They are investigating Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego for campaign finance violations. Interesting part about this is we were learning about this shortly after an ethics committee had cleared Mr. Gallego of similar allegations that also included allegations of sexual misconduct. I want to get your thoughts.
Look, I've spoke to the senator about this, and I can tell you that he's not losing any sleep over this. What he believes is that this is political retaliation for the fact that he's held the Trump administration accountable regarding corruption, regarding policy failures, and doesn't really believe that there is a coincidence that once the ethics committee finished, less than 24 hours, the Department of Justice had an investigation. It looks coordinated, like a coordinated job to attack a political rival, and that's just something that we can't have in this country.
Is this another example or an example of President Trump weaponizing the Department of Justice, in your opinion?
I mean, what's not political right now, right? Yeah. And two things can be true, right? The Ethics Committee is slightly different than the DOJ. The DOJ is doing a much more fulsome investigation, and they're investigating a crime, in fact, right? And also, all of the senators that are on the Ethics Committee had to say no because they're like, oh, crap, we did the same thing, right? So I think there's a lot of that kind of spending going on. But it is important to say, what are we letting people use these campaign funds for, right? We've seen it with several of our members in our congressional delegation, not just Democrats, right? The Republicans have been held accountable for it too. And if it's risen to the level of a DOJ investigation, I would say there's probably some there because there have been many reports made to the FEC and they haven't been investigating any of them. So
I would just kind of push back on that there's a crime, right? I mean, we have laws, you have, rulings. The FEC has clearly allowed that to be, personal spending to happen. I think that if we don't like what's currently on the books, we actually have to change that. But I mean, until they show, what the crime was committed, I think,
By the way, thank you for the correction. I didn't mean to accuse him of a crime. I'm just saying if there's an alleged crime.
Yeah, but let me follow up on that. Yes, the state federal laws on campaign finance spending, pretty lax. Yeah. I mean, we've learned that time and time again. But when you look at some of the expenditures, according to what I've seen that's been reported, expenditures for trips, sporting events, entertainment, I believe childcare, was part of the things that were being reported that Ruben spent this money on. Is that right?
I think there's a significant difference, sports and entertainment and childcare, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I do believe that you should not have to be extremely wealthy in order to run for office. I mean, childcare is an expense. And the question is whether or not donors will continue to give you money. Donors, if they decide that you're not using their resources in an appropriate way, they'll stop giving you money. But I do believe that, if there's campaign finance issues that people have, we actually have to change the campaign finance laws.
And get your thoughts on that. Is it right to spend money like on entertainment, sports trips, things like that with campaign finance money? You've run for office before.
I have done it twice, and I have a much more conservative view on this. I don't think you should spend any of the campaign money on anything personal at all. Your personal expenses are your personal expenses. The Senate pays people pretty well, more than 99% of the population. It's enough to survive. If you have $9 million or $6 million left over in your campaign account, I'm thinking of 2 U.S. senators from Arizona with those numbers, and you're not going to use it for a campaign, you can give it to another campaign, and that's what they should do. Yeah,
and how do you trust this DOJ is going to do a fair and impartial investigation?
I mean, I think I would say, look at the past history of the DOJ, and from there you have to kind of see, where they'll come up with. I mean, I do still have faith in our nation. I have faith in our country. I have faith in the rule of law and courts. And my hope is that no matter what the DOJ says, that if this goes further, that our court system will actually adjudicate it the way that's supposed to be.
All right, let's switch now. Let's go take a look at that superintendent race. I think we have a shot of this. I want to show you some of the video there. That is the ad that is targeting Kimberly Yee. She's the current state treasurer running for superintendent of public instruction, and it uses a lot of racist, Asian American type tropes in this. She has denounced the ad, and Tom Horn, the incumbent, her opponent, has denounced the ad, and it was paid for by an outside group. Tom Horn has asked for the ad to be taken down. I want to get your reaction to this. This is the kind of racism that nobody wanted to see in this race, right?
I mean, it's embarrassing, frankly, and I would say congratulations to Tom. Good job calling for this to be removed. This is the problem with politics today. Out-of-state money comes into a state. Seemingly, people in California have no interest in the outcome of this election. They put a bunch of money behind it. They put this imagery up, which includes the particular Chinese font, some Chinese imagery, a gong, her image looking, particularly Asian. It is so disgusting and so wrong. I don't understand how anybody could not condemn it. And frankly, why is it still on television? It really should be removed. Shame on us, especially on the 250th anniversary of America. Could we have some American imagery out there, friends?
And let me get your reaction to this too, because the way the laws are set up, it does set up a plausible deniability that this group, this outside group, can spend this money, put this ad out there, and Tom Horn can honestly and legitimately say he had nothing to do with it. He probably didn't. Yeah. But they didn't have to look that hard. For part of the message there. You take the racist tropes aside, they're attacking her for supporting DEI. That's exactly what Tom Horn has been doing in this race, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, first of all, the ad has no place in politics, has no place here in Arizona. One thing that I do think is particularly important is to ask the question, why did the creators of this ad in this committee believe that it would provide an advantage or a disadvantage to Kimberly Yee? They're catering to a particular base of individuals who may see something that's slapped with DEI as being, a negative, and that could potentially hurt her. So, I mean, the question is, some people believed that, that ad was going to be effective. It was approved. It was put on TV. Thousands of dollars were put behind it, and it wasn't done for no reason. So I think, condemning it, pushing back is something that should have happened.
Yeah, and that is an interesting point of view on that. They put this ad for a reason because they thought it might be effective. Do you think that was effective?
Well, I just think
Is it Republican primary voters?
Let's make the correct record here. If the attack is about DEI and her support of it, then say DEI and her support of it. DEI attacks are not inherently racist, okay? So let's not pretend that's what we're all agreeing on here. What this does is loop in additionally her immigrant status, her parents, right? And so, all right, we all agree. Okay, happy Independence Day. We all agree on something for a change. Take it down.
All right, I'm so sorry. That is all the time we have. Be sure to join us next week for more Politics Unplugged. Good night.